Good morning, Monte. Time to wakey wakey.
Hello all, welcome back to episode 4 of Monte Radio.
In today's episode, we'll be looking at what's going to be changing next year in Monte.
So we've got Mr. Lloyd here to give us a rundown of all the changes that you can expect next year, if you'll pardon the pun. So we're here with Mr. Lloyd, who is going to give us a quick update and explain what's going to be changing for next year. So over to you, Mr. Lloyd.
Yeah, morning everybody. Nice to be back. We can't really discuss in a great deal of detail exactly what school's going to feel like and how it's going to be in September. We're working as close as it possibly can be to what you're all happy with and familiar with. So that's what we're working on. There'll always be a few changes. We're really pleased that a vast majority of the tutors and matrons are cracking on in the best house. They enjoy being here. So we have got a couple of changes. Mr. Christopher is moving up to Core House. It's really good for him. He's been fantastic in house, but he wanted he's got a nice flat up there. He's got a full sort of shell tutor role, assisting Mr. Van Vick. Good experienced tutor now. Mr. Van Vick's very lucky to have him. So he'll be saying a little bit more for speech day on his memories in the house. Actually, we're doing a little film thing tomorrow evening. I won't spoil it, but outside the house, and he's saying a few things there are going to be edited into a little sort of visual mashup ready for speech day. So and then replacing him, we've got a new member of staff coming to the school, Mr. Ward, who's coming in as head of biology. He's a housemaster of a day house at Reading Bluecoat School, so we're looking forward to seeing him. I've not met him yet, but we've exchanged a few emails, and via email he seems like a terrific bloke. And he's really looking forward to coming back into boarding. He used to work in boarding school. So those are changes. Mr. Knight will be moving in. I know lots of you have got on really well with him. He's a really great chap, and he's coming in to just sort of help out a little bit in house, be a resident, not take a tutor group and that sort of thing. But we're really pleased that he's coming back and staying with us for another year. So that's where we are as far as tutors go. Other than that, things will be as smooth as normal in September, I'm sure.
I was actually, I applied to go to Reading
Sounds great.
Bluecoats.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, do they want you, or did you get a second best? Was it Camford or?
No, I think I was going to go in year 6 or
Okay.
after year 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, Camford won the battle. So yeah.
Well, Mr. Ward obviously feels exactly the same as well. He's very keen to come down here. So and he's moving in with his family, so he'll be good value, I'm sure. Yeah, we look forward to having him, and having another biology teacher, in the house is good. So we've got a bit of that continuity, because I know Mr. Christopher has a queue of people want to help with some biology stuff. So that's good news. That's good news. Another big change for us is that for our lower sixth coming in September, that Mr. Jeffrey's taken over from Mr. Effick, who's done a sterling job for. He's probably been in TCL. It used to be called the Laura for probably 15 years. A huge amount of time. He's had all sorts of people come through. He's had girls, boys, those some day boys that wanted to come aboard. But over obviously the last few years, it's been the whole domain of our lower sixth, and we wish him well. I'm not sure if he's carrying on tutoring at the moment. He probably wants a year off, and then it might be that he comes back into house. But Mr. Jeffrey's taken over. When I first arrived, Mr. Jeffrey was a resident up in Franklin House, so he's been heavily involved in boarding, and he's a great tutor. Those of you know, he's a tutor for a couple of our sixth form in house, and he's terrific. And so he's moving in with his family. He's already got a few really good ideas of how he wants to do things that are slightly different. I think it'll have a really nice family feel to it. He's got a young family, so we're really looking forward to welcoming him as part of the team. And he's coming down for our house meetings on a Monday. He's got all sorts of interesting plans and stuff as well. So watch his space. I think it'll be great. And then Senor, Senor will always be in Montague House. He's never going to go anywhere. And
valuable asset.
Yeah, and I've seen Mr. Graham around with his wife, and Rocky, who's had an amazing haircut, looks like a tiny poodle. So he's around. He's looking forward to welcoming everyone back as well. So he's on good form.
As we heard there, Mr. Christopher is leaving us after 3 years in the mothership, so we've got him on the airwaves. So, sir, how does it feel to be leaving Montecute?
Firstly, thank you for having me on. I feel privileged, but yeah, it's a strange time to be, like you say, 3 years with Montecute, right from when I joined as a graddie, just doing a couple nights a week, distracting you guys whilst you're doing your prep, and then kind of progressed into becoming the Shell tutor. And yeah, no, bittersweet. I'm sure there'll always be a place in my heart for Montecute, but yeah, moving on to court, and no, looking forward to the challenges that come with that as well.
The biggest question we had, sir, was will you be leaving the beard at the door?
I believe the beard will be coming with me. Okay, I think it at first wasn't going to be a permanent fixture, but I've grown to love it, and I think that may be my kind of piece of Montecute coming with me, as it were.
So, in Courthouse, we were wondering whether you might catch the head of house stumbling out of his bedroom at midnight after a whole bottle of wine. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I have been known in the past, possibly, I wouldn't like to say who that was, but I have been known to do that. So I'd like to think I'm not going to come across that again, but who's to say what's to come?
Quite a sight.
Yeah, quite the sight. About to clock off for the night. It's been a fantastic evening, and then a sort of stumbling Bambi comes out of his dorm. Was quite shocking.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Say no more.
Yeah. So, what would be your best memory from your 3 years?
Aside from that, of course.
So, I think I kind of knew that sort of question would come, and I think it's a difficult one to pinpoint onto one thing. I mean, I always enjoy the house music events, and generally, actually, it was my duty night where you guys would be practicing quite often, and indeed often my duty night with the house cross country. So I think witnessing those events and seeing the build up to that is always quite enjoyable. And also, I think living right in the heart of the house where my flat is, I think I'll just miss, I guess, bumping into you guys on a daily basis. I know it's kind of going to be the same in court to some regard, but having to walk through the boarding house like I do now to leave my flat, I think sometimes can be a little strange, but on the whole, it's a really nice experience to see you guys on a daily basis. So I'll probably miss that quite a lot.
And obviously, being one of the resident tutors, you occasionally get woken up in the middle of the night for things. What would you say is the most annoying, or maybe the strangest thing you've been woken up for?
It comes back to your guys' year again, actually, and I don't know if the guys are listening to this and they might know what's coming here, but I think possibly it would have been a Tuesday night, sort of half three in the morning. I hear this knock, and it's often the way where I think, am I dreaming this? And I wait for a second, and then I hear another knock, and I think, actually, no, hang on a sec, that is one of the boys. So I can't go to my door and open it up, and in the doorway is James Harvey Hill standing there in all his glory, with Matt Vaughn poking his head around the corner, to be confronted with the fact that James has indeed thrown up in his bed in the night. So having to deal with that is it's not the most pleasant part of the job, but it's part of the job nonetheless, and it will stick with me, that's for sure.
Well, sir, that's everything we've got. Thank you very much for joining us today on the radio show, and also thank you very much for your 3 years of service at Montecute. You've been a great role model for all of us boys, and we're going to miss you on a daily basis, and of course the Sunday morning shower music.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for having me on, guys. Yeah, just reiterate, it's obviously strange not being able to say bye to you guys in person, but actually it's been really nice to be able to come on here, and yeah, thanks for all the memories, and yeah, I'll of course see you around the place, hopefully in September.
Yeah, feel free to pop up whenever you feel.
I'll pop up some biscuits at break time, for sure.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
This week's Tune of the Week nominations are Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
And Police in Helicopter by John Holt. Stick around to the end to hear who the winner is. Questions from Monte. We've had a few questions in this week, so thank you guys for sending them in. First one, which rule would you abolish from the school rules, but only for Monte?
For me, as being half Scouse, I would probably remove having to watch Grimsby Town beating Liverpool every year. That kind of tears a hole in my heart.
I'd also agree with you on that one too.
Yeah. We've got a text in from Oscar from Jersey. He says, "Hi guys, loving the podcast. It's keeping me going through lockdown. Very nice." And his question is, would you be for or against Camford opening unisex bathrooms?
All right, thanks for that question, Oscar. Maz Susie,
Yeah,
she asks, have you discovered any new music during lockdown? Dude?
Maz, unfortunately, my preferred music of choice is still Year 7 white girl pop. Max?
I've actually gotten into reggae recently. It's quite fun. Nice in the morning.
No, reggae's nice actually, yeah. One from Poppy Lloyd. Is it okay to wear Crocs? Which colour is best? White, yellow or black?
Well, I actually love Crocs. I have a nice pair with a bit of material on the inside, so it's nice and soft on the foot. They were orange, but I think yellow Crocs are great. And you can also get these little customizers that you stick in through the hole, and it's like a little sticker.
Yeah, I remember those.
Those are great as well. Used to collect them. So yeah, Crocs definitely can do.
I feel like Crocs could make a comeback.
Big time.
Mm.
And the last question is from Mr. Lloyd. He asks, what are the best tips for care and maintenance of a mullet? Good?
I think you're probably better to answer that one, Max. Not really a mullet man myself.
Yeah, well, I'm just currently growing mine out. I always put lots of conditioner in. I like to have lots of volume at the back. I like to embrace it, curl it up. And I also like to make sure that the sides stay nice and short. I don't let them grow out. I like to have a lot of contrast. And at the moment, yeah, I'm just growing out the back. Going to trim the top soon, and it's coming along nicely.
Would you go for as much as a difference as you can between the long and the short, or would you maybe, if the top's growing out a bit long, would you maybe go for a slightly short bit at the sides, or go as short as you can?
I like to have it almost bald on the sides, but I like to be very extreme. Everyone's
personal preference.
Yeah.
Perfect. Our second interview is with a man infamous for his driving ability, Mr. Jeffrey, aka the Stig.
He knows his way around a minibus, but does he know his way around Monte? A quick fire quiz of 5 questions for Mr. Jeffrey. So, first question: what is the Monte motto?
No idea.
Straight.
Is that it?
That's it.
Straight. Yeah, it's in the stained glass window on the stairs up to the mothership.
I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Did I not get it right with no idea then?
No,
unfortunately not.
Okay, I'm sorry about
that. Second question: in the Monte chant, Marriott thought they'd won it, but Monty brought it back. Jason on piano. Who was on the sax?
Charlie Anstey, I would think.
Correct.
Very good. Canstey on the sax.
What are Mr. Lloyd's dogs called?
I don't know.
Dorothy.
I'm not a big dog person. I know lots of staff have dogs. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you how many. 2?
2, yeah.
Okay. It's more than one because you gave it away. You said dogs, plural.
Yeah. They often come up into Montague.
Nice.
Yeah, Dorothy and Winifred. Question 4. This year, Monty won their first game in house hockey. And how many years had it been since we'd last won a game?
I'll take a guess. I would say quite a few. Let's say 4.
If you double it and add 1, then you'll have the
answer. Let's go for 9. Let's go for 9.
And then
that is just that's not very good, is it?
Yeah.
No.
And then the year before, we'd scored our first goal in 8 years.
Okay. So if they're not good at hockey, what is the kind of sport for Monty?
Stick toss.
I beg your pardon?
Indeed.
Stick toss.
Stick toss. Okay. I
And
won't
the
ask
final
any more.
question. The
Okay.
final question. What is the worst thing to do in Montecute? The worst thing you could possibly do.
Unimaginable.
Switch houses. So you ask for a transfer to someone like Wimborne.
That would be bad, but there's worse. Impersonate Mr. Graham.
Right.
That is terrible.
That's the
That
worst
is
thing.
definitely.
Okay.
There is one person who has famously impersonated Mr. Graham,
That's
who shall go unnamed.
That
But-
sounds like it's got a big story behind it, and I look forward to
Yeah.
finding out what it was.
The wrath of Mr. Graham is not something you want to be succumbed to.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
How did I do? Is that 5?
That's all 5.
That is
Okay,
5.
I'm quite pleased. I thought I was going to get them all wrong.
You got the Canstey one correct.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with some help, you got the
maths
hockey one
right?
correct.
Hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the quiz done. So on to the
Nice.
questions.
Great.
First question. What are you hoping to do during your time in TCL? Kind of what changes are you hoping?
Oh. Early days. I don't have a big agenda. I am so looking forward to belonging to the Montecute family, is how you put it. I've been in Wimborne House for 17 years. I'm probably guilty of being in one place for too long with that, but I've had many happy years there. Before that, I better come clean. I had 5 years as a resident tutor. And do you know which house?
It was something with L, wasn't it?
No, I was resident tutor. Franklin.
Yeah,
I was in
Mr. Lloyd said
Franklin.
earlier.
Yeah, and happy, very great fun. I was a resident tutor, great fun. So just to be back in a boarding community, I think it's going to be what I'm most looking forward to.
The lower sixth will probably be wondering, and we were wondering if you had any inside information on who the live-in tutor for TCL next year will be, as Mr. Marston is sadly leaving.
Yes, he is. Well, I think it's okay to give a little advance notice here, but it could change. So don't get too upset if it changes. But I think it's going to be a very popular choice, Mr. Harry Nicol, who, as you know, is the
Gatlin.
Gatlin. He's a very keen footballer, and he might even be doing a bit of English teaching next year to some groups. I'm not quite sure, but he wants to explore being an English teacher. So I think that's the plan. That's hot off the press, and if I get into trouble for leaking that, then I'll blame you guys.
Sounds like Ichthian's moving down to TCL.
Well, everything is possible.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Maz Charlotte here, and she has asked, what is Mr. Jeffrey looking forward to most about joining the best boarding house on campus?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Well, being part of a boarding community, Wimborne's obviously mixed house. I think it'd be great to be joining the lads.
Much more testosterone.
You'll meet my family. I'm outnumbered massively in my family. I've got a wife and 3 daughters. So actually, to enjoy a bit of male company would be I'm looking forward to. I'm also just looking forward to getting to know people's interests and see them kind of really get stuck into school life. I don't know about you. In lockdown, all I've focused on is lessons, and Camford is so much more than lessons, and I miss all the extra stuff that we're able to do.
Final question, sir.
Just on that, I'm bringing my dartboard with me, which I've been practicing on, so I'm looking forward to some challenges. Just throw that out there.
We did have a dartboard in Monte in the games room. Max, I'm not sure if you remember, but it lasted well. I think there was quite a lot of corkboard around it for about 2 meters around it, but it went well until someone, I think it may have been Matthew von Schunding, threw a dart into the electricity cable and fused the whole house.
It needs a risk assessment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm looking forward to Game of Killer or Round the Clock or whatever it is.
Lovely.
Final question, sir. As TCL, you'll be dealing with the lower sixth.
Yep.
They've got quite a reputation,
Have they?
good and bad. Have you had any encounters with them? Have you got anything to look out for? Anything you want to say to them before?
I'm very much looking forward to welcoming you all up there. I've taught some of you in the shells and lower down. I'm teaching some of you at the moment, but I think it's going to be slightly different, isn't it? When you're outside the classroom, living side by side, it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be exciting.
That is everything for today. Thank you very much for your time, sir. And
You're welcome.
We are very excited to welcome you into Montecute and really look forward to seeing you in September.
Thank you very much.
Same from me. It's been a pleasure having you on the airwaves, and we look forward to either you popping up to the mothership or we'll maybe pop down and visit you in TCL next term.
You'd be very welcome to come down anytime.
Well, that is all we've got for you this week.
We'll see you again next week for a quick roundup of the term. This week's tune of the week, 3 out of 3 victory for me, is Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
And that is a wrap. Much love from
Big Man Twos
and MC Hansen signing off.